All right, welcome back to the Elias Makos Show. This is a big hour, by the way. Program note, if you're just tuning in, 10:45, Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservatives, will be on this program. Stay tuned for that. But we begin this hour of the show with a man who's made a lot of headlines over the course of the last 48 hours. Youri Chassin joins us in studio. He is now an independent MNA for Saint-Jérôme. A couple of days ago, he was the CAQ MNA for Saint-Jérôme, and he published an open letter in the Journal de Montréal criticizing his own party and then the decision to leave the party. Monsieur Chassin, welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming.
Nice to be here and nice to be the first part of Pierre Poilievre.
That's right. You're the lead-in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to start in 2018. When you got elected. When the CAQ gets elected, I remember I was doing live night coverage. I was on TV doing live coverage, right? So I remember that night like yesterday. And there was such momentum, ideas. I remember Premier François Legault speaking to the English community.
Absolutely.
Your website was bilingual. You see the message from the Premier, Anglos, be part of this movement. Oh my God, it was all hopes and dreams.
Absolutely.
What happened?
It's a very good question, but after 6 years, my feeling is that the hopes and dreams, you really want to do better, you really want to change things, but to be, the party of change, it's not just to get in power instead of another party. It's actually to do something different, to use the power differently. And this is the hard task, actually, because it's grinding with time probably, but with also all the problems that you're facing. You have the headlines, you have to react. It's quick. It's in a state of constant emergency. And sometimes because you have those emergencies going on, you probably don't see anymore the really fundamentals.
So
you have to task.
Yeah. But did something happen? Like, obviously the pandemic, right? Oh, pandemic happened. Like, was that where everything went off the rails? Or were there other moments that you look at?
Okay, well, the pandemics derailed the train totally, and we had to address it, obviously. But then, how do you find back your
mojo?
Yeah, and the important objective that you have. You have to remember who you are, what we are here to do, what's the sense of our political activism, and I think that this is why the François Legault just candidly said that he lost his compass, and we have to find back a compass. But you know what? I've been in politics for 6 years. Before that, I was an economist at the Montreal Economic Institute, and my convictions are the same. I believe, in some strong values. I don't feel that I've changed, but I feel that there's a huge gap between my party and me now that wasn't there 6 years ago.
Okay, when you tell the Premier this week, I'm leaving the party.
I didn't tell him, actually.
You didn't?
No. Because I don't want to be in a game of, if you don't give me this, I'm going to leave the party. So it wasn't any menace, It wasn't like that.
Yeah, okay. Listen, you're on CJAD, right?
Yeah.
We're an English radio station. We've got our primarily Anglophone audience, okay? But I'm telling you, we've got allophones listen to us and francophones also listen to us, right? But obviously our audience. And one thing from my perspective, I remember when the government, coalition also meant anglais, français, tout le monde, right? That's what it used to mean. Yeah. And there was a moment, remember Dawson College? Yeah. It was the Quebec government fighting, like it was the PQ saying, don't do the expansion. And everyone was bashed. And the government was like, no, this is important. This is an expansion, not for more students, but just to give them the facilities so that the students aren't doing classes at the Pepsi Forum. Okay. And the government was promoting it. They were the ones who were going to do it. And then everything changed. Something happened where they said, no Dawson College, Bill 96 is coming, Anglos you watch. Were there, can you tell me, internally in the party, I've heard some people in the CAQ tell me, was there debate in the party? Like, did people in the party like yourself say, hey guys, we're losing the mission off this path?
So, about language, probably I would say this. Probably that I've imagined politics to be much more about public policies, debates, forums to express yourself as an MNA, for example. There's not that much time. You can also, try and influence by speaking to someone just before the period question or the question period, or sometimes you have the opportunity to say your piece in a caucus, but it's always 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's not that much debate as I've imagined beforehand. Now, is there some preoccupations that are coming across loud and clear? Yeah, absolutely. And this is our job, right? We are spokesperson for our people, for our writing, and we do that a lot. And I have a ton of examples that I remember, and I'm not going to say because it's secret, but that we've changed the course of government because we're saying this is totally...
So do you think, on the subject of Bill 96, and don't worry, I won't stay on language forever, but on the subject of Bill 96, do you think the party went too far, like to the point now, like I can't, my mom and my dad died in the last few years. So and thank you. My mom dies, I get the death certificate in English because I request it. By the time my dad dies, laws changed. No death certificate for you in English. It's just, it seemed so petty. Do you believe your party your former party went too far down the hardline language path?
And probably for an electoralist gain that I'm not sure it's going to materialize at all. And this is something, for example, there's rules for the insurers to get all things in French at first, and immediately. Well, insurers, it's a big market. There's big players. There's international players. If they just say, well, Quebec is a small market, let's just get out of it. Well, we're going to pay up
more. Everything gets more expensive here.
And this is something that I think that you want to get the information in French. Well, okay, it's normal, right? For a French-speaking person, I think that I would like to have my contract in French. Absolutely. Well, then, can we help instead of just punishing? This is the kind of approach that we have to be innovative. We have to ask something else out of the public service and the administration. And this is what we see. There's such a crisis in public services. Can we imagine innovative ways to tackle it or not? And I need the CAQ to get back to its roots and get innovative again.
Can I ask you why you've chosen to sit as an independent? We've had Eric Duhem on this program many times, conservative, obviously leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec. He seems to think, in some of the things you just said, it resonated like, oh, I've heard that.
Oh, we think alike in so much things.
Couldn't you bring more to the National Assembly as a member of his party?
You know what? Even if it was so, this is not what the electorate of Saint-Jérôme voted for. And so the first thing I want to say is that my electorate voted Youri Chassin, Coalition Avenir Québec, and probably more for the second part, right? Because Youri Chassin, okay, well, it's a name. But then again, if I have to say I'm not comfortable anymore with my party, I'll become independent, but I'm not going to go across the border, to say, well, let's take another party when it's a one man's decision and not my writing's decision. So this is the respect I have for my
Monsieur Chassin, as I listen to you here, it almost sounds like, after wrap up, but it almost sounds like you have maybe too many strong convictions for what politics is actually like.
And this is actually the function of a compass, right? So I'm the compass. I say, let's get back on track. I'm trying. I didn't succeed internally. I'll do it from across the aisle.
Monsieur Chassin, Thank you very much for coming in the studio. I think it was very enlightening. And maybe now as an independent, you can come on again and have some commentary.
I'll talk to you much more.
That's right. That's Youri Chassin. He's the MNA for Saint-Jérôme, now sitting as an independent.